Welcome to Financial Strategies with Andrew Agemy in Connecticut and Daniel Agemy in Colorado.
Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. And this is an amazing thing. People will say to us, 1 or 2 or 3% interest compound is no big deal. Oh, really? Well, I guess you're one of those that don't understand it if you say that, and you're going to pay it. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. And today we're talking about protecting your pile. AAA, it is crazy out there. It is a crazy world. It is a crazy world in investing. The people that come in here and talk to us, there's all kinds, right? There's all kinds. And our goal with this show is to help those that want to be helped. We're not going to help everybody. We get that. We want to add value.
That's
right. We
right.
want to add value to as many people as we can, but there's certain people that actually are interested in protecting what they have. And there's others that say whatever will be, or misery loves company. So if everybody loses, I'm happy with losing. And that's not what we're into. But today we put together a wonderful show called Protecting Your Pile, because we believe that if you've been investing pretty much in anything in the last 30 to 40 years, so you're at retirement, you made a lot of money. You already have your nest egg.
Even 10 years, possibly, right? Because it's not until people get to be older, 40, 50 years old, when they start getting serious about investing. And so even the past 10 years or so, because the markets have done crazy in the past 10 years, but that's not indicative of what's going to happen or what it's like when they're in retirement. So people don't know what they don't know. And that's why we're coming to you today from Financial Strategies, Daniel in Colorado, Andrew in Connecticut, to be able to help you and educate you to be able to make smart decisions. So I interrupted Daniel, but you're right on track, man. And one of my favorite things, Daniel, as you well know, is I'm thinking of one of our clients, and this happens often, right? Many times the man is interested in investments and the woman is an artist or has no idea. The advisors they've worked with have done them wrong, or at least speak down to them. You know what? It bothers me. I'm sitting with a couple and another person, another man, and the man is talking and he's looking at the guy and he's not looking at the woman. That drives me insane. What is she, chopped liver? Right? So we've had women come in with this attitude. But you know what? I love women. I mean, I married one. I love them so much. So with that, the thing is that they tend to be open to what they don't know. Unlike men seem to be prideful, and this is what I know, and this is what I'm sticking with. That's the general tendency between males and females. Tendency. Now, women will come in with their arms crossed and this scowl on their face because they don't want to be there. Their husband dragged them there. And then they leave and they're slapping me on the back, laughing, smiling. And it's like an 800-pound weight has been lifted off their shoulder. Their stress is gone because I've given them hope, because I'm not giving them the same old. I'm giving them something different. Now, for those people, we're willing to help. But you know what? Some people come in like that and they leave like that. And you know what? My favorite 4-letter word. Next. So God has gifted us tremendously with what we're able to do for people. My wife is just commenting this morning about how she loves what we do for widows, single women who don't know what to do. And we won't get into it, but we have a story of one pastor's wife died, $250,000 of life insurance, was going to spend it down. We changed it to where now she's got everything she needs to retire and the $250,000. Another pastor's wife, widow, $250,000, spending it down. Won't do what we tell her to do. And that's fine. That's her prerogative. It's her money. But if people don't listen to us, we're not going to cast our pearls before swine. So anyway, I'm going on and on. Go ahead, Daniel, you talk.
Well, let's talk about protecting your pile. What do we mean by protecting your pile? Basically, if you've invested anything, we were talking about this the other day, AAA, you bought classic cars, you bought art, you bought stocks, you bought real estate. Basically, especially in the last 30 years, like you said, 10 years it's been too, but 30 years, you're rich. Right. You're rich. If you invested, you're pretty much rich. And the question is,
hey, Daniel, I got to stop you, man. I was rich when I went with my 8 kids. That's what makes me truly rich, relationships. So just let you know, the money came after to enhance those relationships. So just for the record, okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, hopefully you can protect those
right.
Adults now are taken care of and they're okay.
That's right.
Has to do with their education. But we're talking,
yep.
We're talking about now, how are you going to protect your future, right? And this gets, I think, missed. People think what has been will be, and it will
maybe
be.
Maybe not during their lifetime.
The difficulty is they think what has been just recently. So the last 30 years will continue the next 30 years, and history tends to say otherwise, right?
That's right.
The last 30 years have been unprecedented, where you could put your money into anything.
Right.
And if you did, you invested it in almost anything, you're rich.
Yep. All right.
And why you're talking about that quote, the compounding interest quote from Albert Einstein, is because if you don't know what you're investing in, how do you know if it will compound? And the disease of ease has come into play, where people are just investing in things they don't know what they are.
Right.
And that has worked. Call it the past 30 years.
Right.
It's worked while rates have been coming down. It's worked while all money around the world has flown into the U.S., into U.S. real estate, into U.S. stocks, into the dollar. And if you think that will continue, and you think you can continue to just say whatever will be, we're just going to take advantage of this and not look for the compounding interest, or not look for the types of assets that will protect your pile, will protect your wealth, then you may be in for a surprise in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, or in retirement.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Man, look at, you're listening to Financial Strategies, Andrew and Daniel Agemy, because people don't know what people don't know. And just like history, if you don't understand history or don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. So we're trying to help people to know what they don't know so that they can make educated, smart decisions. And we want to educate you. That's why we have these radio shows on 6 stations in Colorado, Florida, and Connecticut, and looking to expand even more. But today we have and as well as YouTube, where we've got a paper we want to give you, 7 risks to your retirement. There are a lot of risks. Retirees' greatest fear is running out of money before they run out of life. And and the problem is why that's their fear is because retirees over and over again make the same mistake. It's a simple mistake because they expect that it's going to be the same way in the future as it was in the past. So when you start receiving money for minimum distributions or to live on for income, it's not the same. It'd be kind of like your 25-year-old son saying, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to use Dr. Bob, my pediatrician, for my doctor because he always did good by me, so I'm going to do that. What 25-year-old man is going to use his pediatrician for his future doctor, even if the pediatrician would take him? None that I know of. So the point is, why would you do your investments the same way when you're in or near retirement? So there's a paper, 7 risks to your retirement, to help you educate yourself so that won't be you. And we love to put this in your hand for free by calling us at 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616, or hit us on the web at our website. Very simple, our lastname.com, agemy.com, A-G-E, age, the word age, last M-Y, right? Agemy spells our last name of agemy.com. Put a comment in there, contact us there if you want the paper, if you have a question. And so let's get back to the show. You listen to Financial Strategies. Today's topic is protect your pile. You've got a pile because, as Daniel says, the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you've made a pile of money Some call it their nest egg. Well, what are you going to do for it now? And Daniel, the thing I wanted to say is when we started the thing with the compound interest quote from Albert Einstein, right, with compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Well, I can't tell you how many people I come across all the time that don't understand compounding. Their money is in growth stocks, going from $10 a share, $11 a share, $12 a share. And in their heads, they think it's compounding. And the reason for that is because they don't understand the definition of compounding. Just like their children, their 15, 16-year-old children don't understand their definition of done when they say, hey, son, are you done cleaning your room? Yeah, Dad, I'm done cleaning my room. And you get there and you say, this is not my definition of done. And that's what happens over and over again. People think their money's compounding, and it simply is not.
Yep. There's two ways it's not, right? You could go to both extremes where you have somebody who says, I'd like to be aggressive, so I'm going to buy this stock fund, or I'm going to buy this stock even. And there's no due diligence done on what's in that fund or what that company is doing. And you have the other side of the extreme where you have people who are saying, well, I don't want to take on any risk at all, so I'm going to put the money in the bank and I'm going to let inflation eat it up at 8% a year. And people might say, well, inflation's not 8%. What are you talking about? Well, the money creation is 8%. So you kind of have a hurdle rate. You got to earn about 8% in order to stay even. And that's where if you look at money supply over the S&P 500, for example, it's flat. You basically kept your same purchasing power.
Right.
But if you've benefited from that for all these years and now you have the pile, what do you do? What do you do to protect that nest egg? What do you do to protect your retirement? And there's a few different things that you can do. One of the reasons that we talk about income all the time is because income is compounding interest. You can compound it, you can reinvest it, you can spend it, you can take care of opportunities that present themselves in market volatility. But one of the other things is that there's typically contracts associated with these. And what the contracts allow you to do is they protect your money while they're paying you, compared to what most people say is, well, I hope that the stocks come back. I hope the stock market comes back. And in the way that S&P is designed right now, if you're in a S&P fund or you're in the stock market, you're relying on other people's capital continue to go into these stocks to drive the price up. It's not the internal compounding of the company's returns that people are used to. They're used to, you buy a company and it doesn't pay a dividend, but internally it's compounding. Well, now people aren't doing that research on the funds to see if the companies in the fund are actually compounding. And that's something people really need to watch out for when things are so expensive, when U.S. stocks are so expensive.
Right. That's exactly right. Man, this ACE show's going by quickly. You're listening to Financial Strategies. Andrew Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is protecting your pile. You've worked hard. You saved money. You've inherited money. You have a pile of money. Well, what now? Do you do the same thing you've always done? Well, and expect different results? Albert Einstein said that's a definition of insanity. Or do you protect it and try to make as much as you can while protecting it? Well, that's what we're talking about today. We have a book that we like to give you, goes along with the show. It's called More Life Than Money. Our friend Anthony Siccaro has written this book masterfully. In there, every chapter is talking about something that you don't know but should know about retirement. This is written for retirees. It's not written for 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. It's written for 50, 60, 70, 80 years old who goes in retirement. Love to put this in your hand to the next 5 first-time callers at 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616. Call for your free copy. First 5 first-time callers. Call now. We'll be right back after this.
Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy.
So Manny and his wife saw us in the 5-Star Wealth Managers Award, receiving that in Connecticut Magazine many years ago, over a decade ago. And Manny had done a great job of managing his 401k himself. He would buy the dips. He'd buy company stock. When company stock went down, he would buy it. When company stock went up, he would sell it. And that's the whole thing, right? Buy low, sell high. He was doing it. He wasn't buying and holding. He wasn't buying and molding. He was buying low, selling high, rebuy again after it drops because he knew the stock, he liked the stock, and he ended up accumulating between his contributions and what he did $1 million. But he wasn't done working. So what he said was, I want to protect my pile. And he brought his pile over to us to protect for him. And he kept his money going into the 401k and continued to buy the dips with the lesser money he had in his 401k. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out what his actual experience has been on that over the past years. But nevertheless, the point is he protected his pile. And today he has a lot of money available to him, creating him an income in retirement that he doesn't have to worry about. At the same time as holding on to some of that market stock, some of that market stuff, and trying to make it grow because it's fun. And it's foot. You're listening. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today we're talking about protecting your pile. And AAA, it's not so much what you make that matters. It matters if you're going to have it for the long run. And one of the best traders on earth, there's a book called The Remittance of a Stock Operator. And this guy traded through depression. He traded things. He made so much money. Like back in the 1920s, the amount of money that he accumulated trading was insane.
Right.
But he ended up losing it all over time and ended up the only money he had left for his family was an annuity that he had purchased. And that took care of the family, but he ended up committing suicide at the end of the book. Sorry for the spoiler alert. It's a really interesting book. But the question is, what's the purpose of your money? Are you trying to take your $1 million 401k and turn it into $3 million? Are you trying to take your $2 million inheritance and turn it into $8 million? What's the purpose? If you've got $3 million saved up for retirement, are you trying to turn it into $9 million? What's enough? What do you need, right? What do you need to have the lifestyle you want to have? And if you've got that $1 million in your 401k, what's the purpose of that? Is that fun money? Is that the money you need for your retirement? What's the purpose? So we always have to go back and say, what is the purpose of this money? Is it to try to just gamble it? Is it to try to get it to the biggest number so you can go knock on your neighbor's door and say, look at this, I've got $5 million in my 401k now? Or is it so you can have a lifestyle
that you enjoy
throughout retirement, right?
Right.
And so that's what we wanted to bring to people's attentions, because not enough people, I think, talk about this. No. They talk about what you've been talking about, buying the dips. They talk about markets always come back. And historically, which market are you talking about comes back? Over what period of time is it coming back? If that $1 million or $2 million in your 401k is for your retirement, can you withstand a 60% drawdown?
Good point. And
you want to withstand a 60% drawdown.
Right. How would that feel at this stage of life? Right. You went through it 10 years ago, 15 years ago without such a problem, but that's not necessarily how it would be now, because things change. I'm right with you, Daniel. And that is key. But, one of the issues is because people don't understand compound interest. And they think that if they take their money out of the market, they're not going to make any money. Well, that is kind of crazy. It's because people don't understand compound interest. And like you told me of one of our clients that's been a client for 10 years and did outside the market 8% per year over the past 10 years in non-stock market stuff after fees. There will be a lot of people in our audience that would be hard pressed to be able to say that unless they invested in Apple 10 years ago with a big amount of money. But if they've got anything, if they got mutual funds or 401k or anything, they're going to be hard pressed to come close. And it's at far greater risk. And that's what I mean. People don't know what they don't know. And that's why this show exists. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is protecting your pile. A lot of people think, oh, if I protect my pile and I go more conservative, I can't make any money. That's not the example I just gave you. By lowering in that example, stock market returns are somewhere in a 7 or 8% range. And we're talking this client, which is not uncommon. We have some that have done better, 8% after fees with a third the risk of the stock market. Crazy. They're protecting their pile. Now, maybe that's interesting to you. Maybe it's not. Hey, whatever. But we got a paper that we'd like to give you called 7 Risks to Your Retirement. When it comes to retirement, there are many risks. When it comes to investing, there's many risks. This is not an exhaustive guide to the risk that you're investing in for retirement or investments. This is only 7. But these are the 7 significant ones. And these are things that you can look at. It's an easy read paper. It's only about 3 pages long that can help you educate yourself to make smart decisions. You can have that for free by calling us at 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616, free, no obligation. And call now for that. You listen to Financial Strategies. Today's topic is protect your pile, because people don't know what people don't know.
So there's a few different ways you can look at protecting your pile, right? Gold historically has been a great way of protecting wealth from all kinds of things, from wars, from stock market devaluations, from currency failures, from all kinds of things. And a lot of people use that. A lot of people have used that, especially in the past couple of years, to increase their pile, to increase their wealth, and to protect their wealth. Gold doesn't compound either. And so that's where that can be a tricky one as well, because it's not compounding. It's kind of like I gave up and I just want to make sure that I do what money debasement or inflation does, right?
Right. And the thing about gold is, I'm going to say, what I'm typically becoming famous for, don't try this at home. Don't buy gold at home. If you're going to buy gold bars or whatever, put it in the safe, put it in the backyard, and keep it for the next several decades. Okay, that's one thing. But if you're going to buy it in your portfolio, don't. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, because chances are you're going to end up losing money on that. Because with gold, you have to know when to buy, when to sell, when to hold. And if you've not studied it thoroughly and understand the different cycles and repeatable trends to gold, that could be disastrous for you. You could actually lose money even investing in gold. It's not a sure cure. Don't try this at home, folks.
Yeah, with gold, there's kind of a couple ways. With a lot of assets, there's a couple of ways to look at it. You could say, I'm buying gold, and that could mean different things. Are you buying gold in your brokerage account, or are you buying physical gold? You could say, I own gold. And to me, if you're interested in gold, you need to own gold, not buy gold. And what I mean by that is, owning gold means you have the physical in your possession, and it doesn't matter what the price is, you're not selling it. That's your insurance that you keep on the sidelines, and you're thinking you're holding it for a lifetime. That's why you're not buying it, you're owning it. It's not an investment so much as it's an insurance, and it's something that you're keeping in your possession. It doesn't do any good if you put it in the safety deposit box. It doesn't do any good if you're buying a contract on gold, like someone owes you the gold, because gold is an insurance. And the only way that's going to do you well, unless you're trading it, is if you have it in your physical possession, and you're not going to be able to sell it most likely for a good price. So it's just keeping it to have generational wealth. The other way is the trading, right? Where you have some competitive advantage and you think that you can trade it. You've got some insight into when is high, when is low. And the question is, are you a good trader? And that's not diminishing anybody. We have to always ask ourselves, are we good at what we think we're good at? Are we a good trader? There's plenty of people out there trading. And the question is, are you good at trading? Or has the market just been really perfect for trading?
Right.
And especially as equities get more and more expensive, it's harder and harder to outperform or to be protected in a fund of investments, in an S&P fund, in mutual funds, in ETFs, because most of those funds have a mandate to own certain stocks, and they're not doing the individual research on those stocks. So if you're trading these things, do you have a competitive advantage? And are you a good trader, or have you just been blessed by the tailwinds of quantitative easing, of the government spending, the government hiring? Because these things seem to be going away more than they'll be growing, right? Are we going to continue to grow the government the way it has, or is it going to stay the same or get smaller? Are foreign central banks going to continue buying our debt, buying our stocks, or are they going to start diversifying into things like gold and into other currencies and into other stock markets around the world?
They've already started doing Bitcoin, right? For that purpose. So it's all works in. Good. Yeah. So, there's risks that are out there, right? And people rely on old information, meaning that they're going to do in the future what they've always done. That's old information, because things are not the way they always were. If for no other reason, because you're not the age you were 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. And that's huge. It's like one of the things I'm always bringing up to people when it talks about taxes to a married couple is that so many married couples have never thought about how when one dies, their tax bracket is going to increase, because you're going from married filing jointly to single, and the tax brackets change and the standard deduction changes. And you need to know how to mitigate that, how to be prepared for that. And the sooner you do that, the better off it is. Hey, guys out there that are do-it-yourselfers, doing it yourself, and your wife knows nothing about any of this stuff, you better start looking about somebody that she can trust, that she can work with when you go, when you leave this earth. So, and there's a huge aspect of, I'm going to call it, lack of better terminology, legacy and financial planning. Legacy and estate planning. And if you have questions about that, you can call us, contact us on our website, agemy.com, agemy.com. Listen, another thing I want to say is, right now, folks, listen to this. If you have an annuity, this could be as new as 2 years ago and older. If you have an annuity, the Federal Reserve has given you and issued you a present. And I can't go into a lot right now here, but what I'm saying is you owe it to yourself, if you have an annuity that's 2 years older, to get a second opinion. All right. And we can't help everybody, right? But my point is, you owe it to yourself. Go someplace, get a second opinion. Recently, one of our listeners, we weren't able to help, went elsewhere and for a second opinion, and it improved their situation. I'm blessed. I'm happy, because my goal is to add value to people's lives every day. And I know if I do add enough value to enough people's lives, we at Agemy Financial are going to be taken care of, because we're true fiduciaries. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is protecting your pile. And Anthony Escaro wrote a great book to help you understand how to protect your pile, how to make sure that you have more than enough income to have the perfect retirement, to live the rest of your life doing all the things you want to do, how to be able to be prepared for those things that you don't even know are coming down the road. We retire vicariously through our clients every day. So we know what it's like to be 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old in retirement, because we experience it through our clients, because that's who we specialize in. So Anthony does the same thing, but on the left coast there. And get this book for free to the next 5 first-time callers. Call 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616 for your free copy. No obligation. Call now.
Time for some tough questions for these financial advisors. What makes Retirement Income Source different from other financial?
Our extensive experience generating investment income quickly so you can have financial peace of mind, navigate your retirement smoothly, and have more time to spend with family and doing the things you love. Honey. We gotta talk to these guys. We're done here.
This is Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy.
Whenever people come in to talk to me to have a financial MRI or second opinion done for free on their accounts or a retirement risk analysis, I ask the question, and I know what the answer is. It's kind of rhetorical, but I've never yet heard anybody say, yeah, that's on my bucket list. That people have on their bucket list that they want to run out of money and go in a convalescent home to die, as opposed to what is on their bucket list. They want to stay home as long as possible. And what is it going to take to stay home? Money. And how do you have money when you're 90 or 95 years old if you've been retired for 30 years? By having a robust portfolio to where you protected your pile and turn it into a robust portfolio providing income, more than enough income, so that you can have the perfect retirement for the rest of your life. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today we're talking about protecting your pile, protecting your nest egg, protecting your wealth. And AAA, one of the things when we look back hundreds and hundreds of years is the families that have carried that wealth over. They've gone through world wars, they've gone through depressions, they've gone through currency debasements, they've gone through all the things, is they understand the value of not just growing your money over time, but protecting the wealth that you have.
Go ahead.
And there's tools to be able to do that. There's tools that are able to do that. We talked about one of those tools people have used, which is gold. And we talked about some pros and cons about gold. We talked about thinking about different ways of using gold. Another one is investing in international companies, right? If you think the companies in your stock market are expensive, or if they are expensive and you don't know what you own, it's a good thing to look and get diversification through different currencies. If you're worried about your government spending habits and you're worried about talks of the world using other currencies besides the dollar, one way you can look is you can look at company that pay nice dividends, nice fat dividends, trade at half or a quarter of the price of their U.S. counterparts. And there's what's called a margin of safety now. Because if you're trading at, let's say, 30 times, 20 times earnings, that means it's going to take 20, 30 years, with all things being equal, to get your money back. Well, what if you could do 10? What if you could buy a company, a good company, but because it's not in the U.S., it's trading at 10 times earning. Now you have this big margin of safety because, number one, yeah, that could start trading at 5. But if it's trading at 5, people are really going to be wanting to snap that up. But it also could start trading at 20 as well if the demand for that changed. But you don't actually need it to do either. You don't need it to go down and you don't need it to go up, because you can just sit back and watch this company compound while you compound, because they're paying you a nice fat dividend. That's another way that we have seen over hundreds of years of families protecting their wealth, is getting in the investments that pay them and are diversified from their current country or their current origin.
Daniel, diversification is a huge topic. We've done shows on the importance of true diversification. And if you haven't heard one of those shows, let me go back and encourage you anywhere that you listen to podcasts or on our website, agemy.com, agemy.com. All the previous shows are on there. Look it up search for the word diversification, and you're going to get a lot of info. True diversification is a huge way of mitigating risk. But unfortunately, most people don't truly diversify. It'd be like them buying boats, and they buy big boats and small boats, and motorboats and sailboats, and old boats and new boats. And they say, oh, I'm diversified because I have all kinds of boats. The problem with that is when the tide goes out, they all go down. When the tide comes in, they all come up. And that's what most people do with their investments. They buy all kinds of investments. But when the market comes down, I don't care if you're in bond funds or not, it's going to come down, right? These financial advisors out there have a different definition, folks, for conservative than most people in and close to retirement. I saw a guy this past week that said, oh, this guy was supposed to put it in the bank with no risk. And on a scale of 1 to 10, he had it in 7 when the client wanted it somewhere around 1 or 2 or 3. So there's a great disparity in definitions and what people are understanding on both sides. And that's not true diversification. So guys, please educate yourself on true diversification so that you can benefit from it. Like Ecclesiastes 11:1-2 says, cast your bread upon the water, after many days will come back to you, given unto 7 portions, even 8, for you don't know what disaster is going to come upon the land. And so if God said it, I believe it. And we practice that for our clients, if it matters to you. I know a lot of people out there, so when I mention the word God said it, or shut off the radio. But that's okay. There are some of the people that we can't help, don't want to help, because we've got certain people that we're interested in talking to. So listen, this is the key. Now, listen, we've got a paper that we want to give you today to help educate you further, because people don't know what people don't know, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today's topic is protect your pile. You know how you're going to protect your pile? I talked to somebody the other day who spent growing up and in college and everything, played soccer. And soccer is a nice game, good game, right? He was the goalie. How is the goalie going to have defense, right? There's a full team of people with offense. How is a goalie going to do offense? A lot of people on the team are there to do the offense. There's one goalie. Why? Because the defense is important and he's got to focus on the defense. And this paper is called The Importance of Financial Defense, right? And so we love to put this in your hand. Again, this one, like the last one, is only about 4 pages, simple read that we love to put in our hands to educate you to make smart decisions for your retirement. I don't care who you make them with. I just want you to make smart ones on purpose as opposed to dumb ones just by default. You can have this for free by calling 800-725-7616, 800-725-7616, or ask for it by name on the web at agemy.com, financial defense paper. All right, Daniel, this is great. Today's topic on financial strategies is protecting your pile, talking about the importance of changing things and investing for dividends, protecting it, reassessing, analyzing, checking, changing things, right? 3 things in life are certain: death, taxes, and change. And when it comes to your portfolio, are you going to change for the better? Or are you going to keep it stagnant? You're going to keep it the same and get the same thing and the results that come with something that you've never experienced before when you have to start taking your RMDs out.
Yeah, or it might not even be that. It might not even be taking RMDs. It might be you're just interested in holding on to what you've earned. It might be that you have a big purchase that you want to make in the future. It might be that you want to create generational wealth for your children, for your children's, for your children's. There's a lot of different reasons to protect your pile besides RMDs, right? AAA. That is one thing, but we're talking about, I've said a couple of times, if you bought almost anything
right
in the last 20, 30, 40 years, right, you're rich.
Right.
AAA, I haven't been investing for 30 years.
Right.
I've made a lot of money in the market. You made a lot of money in the markets. I'm not ready to retire. But do you know what? I still look, things are expensive. I still personally look at my own things and take risk reductions and move things around, right, because there's absolutely no point on taking on riskless return or returnless risk, right?
Right.
Returnless risk. There's lots of people who will come in and they'll say to us, I want to be more aggressive. And I say, what does aggressive mean to you? Because you can be aggressive right now and you can invest in what's quote unquote aggressive. And there's not a lot of room for return built into that. So why are you taking on risk for no return? And there's so many people doing that. And that is something that drives me crazy when I see these portfolios that people bring into us to get second opinions on. And they're taking on a lot of risk and there's not a lot of return. That doesn't mean that there can't be return, but there's no built-in return.
Right.
So they're taking that risk because they're hoping things will do what they've done.
Yeah.
And when things get expensive, you cannot count on them doing what they've done. If it's cheap and it's done well,
yeah,
right? The U.S. was cheap in 2009 and 2010. People didn't want to get into U.S. stuff in 2010. People were worried 2011. Now everybody wants to be in.
Daniel, we have had a couple people come in within the past 6 months, 9 months with Apple stock that they bought cheap. Now, actually more than that. 2 of them want to sell it. One of the guys is going to keep riding it. But they bought Apple stock cheap and they are feeling the pain. One person sold it without even talking to anybody because she felt the pain. And now we're doing damage control, which is all good. It's all well, but she knows she needs to reposition because she was kind of forced into retirement. And Apple stock, having $300,000 in Apple stock is not part of a retirement plan. And she knows that. She didn't know what it looked like, but we are now changing her portfolio to be able to compound to give her a retirement plan, which she is elated with, right? But you are 37 years old, 38 later on this year, and you're younger than me. I'm 66. We have different situations, but you're readjusting and rebalancing your portfolio to take some of the profit off the table, just like a smart person would do at the casino, right? They start off with $100 and they build it up to 500. Well, take the 400, play with the 400, put the original 100 in your pocket and just play with the 400. If you lose the 400, not a problem, right? So I'm 66 now.
I'm not going to lose I don't want to lose the 400.
Well, I get you. I get you, but that's an aggressive approach. Good point, Daniel. There's other kinds of approaches, but that's an aggressive, and that's this lady with this Apple stock. That's the approach. She made money, and you're never going to sell it. One guy makes decisions by indecision, unfortunately, right? And he sold some, but it's like, is it going to go higher? Is it going to go lower? And he vacillates between those two and can't make a decision to do. But my point is, you're never going to sell at the peak on purpose. You're never going to buy at the bottom on purpose. So you just got to buy while it's low, sell while it's high. Right now, Apple stock is high, just for the example. Now, but what I'm trying to say is, I could have retired years ago, but I don't, because I'm on a mission, because I want to be able to help others to retire. Recently, we don't usually do this, but we took on somebody who is a type of widow, and she's got like $70,000. That we don't usually go that low. Our minimum account size is 500, and maybe we'll go to 300, but we can't do a lot with 70. But she needs our help. She's been financially raped from these companies, from her 401k company and other things. And by not having anybody to talk to, she's been taking money out of her 401k, paying penalties, paying taxes. It's egregious. And the Holy Spirit just said, Andrew, you got to help this woman. So, but the point is this, is that in my portfolio set up the way that you handle stuff. And year to date, I would say I'm up in the vicinity of 10+% year to date, which is, if we extrapolate that out over the year, if it continues in that same fashion, that would be a 20% return with less than half the risk of the stock market. Am I right?
Yeah, well, the market is down year to date. So to have any positive is amazing. But that's what I'm getting is, we don't believe in losing money. And when things are expensive is not the time to take on excessive risk. When the Federal Reserve has increased these rates and you can get 8% in bond and bond-like instruments, it is not time to take on excessive risk to try to get 9.
Right. I agree. Well, listen, Daniel, it's time for us to take a break. So you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Today's topic is protect your pile. People don't know what people don't know, so we want to educate you so that you can know what you need to know to be able to make smart decisions. And we have a book that go along with you that will help educate you further. More Life Than Money. More Life Than Money. What you don't know, each chapter basically starts with what you don't know, about retirement stuff. And I'd love to put this in your hand. I love this book. I love Anthony as a friend. He's a great friend, California. And read this for the next 5 first-time callers, 800-725-7616. 800-725-7616 for the next 5 first-time callers. We'll be right back after this.
Do you have any questions for me about retirement income source?
I just want to make sure I can invest well enough to have enough income, enjoy my retirement.
We build a custom retirement plan based around your income and goals.
How do I know I can trust you?
Building trust does take time, but our investment advisory arm is comprised of fiduciaries, which means our obligation is to you, so you can enjoy your retirement with a little more income stability.
I'm in.
That's 2 out of 3.
You're locked on to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy.
Okay, so I'd like everybody in the audience to raise their hand if you would ever pay somebody to find you a mechanic to work on your car. I know no hands went up, right? I mean, a lot of you guys out there are fixing your own cars, right? You never pay somebody to work on your car anyway. But who would pay to find somebody to work on your car? To pay a middleman to find somebody. But yet, that's what people are doing every day with their investments. Paying a middleman that makes more than the money manager for just connecting the two. I'm Andrew Agemy.
And I'm Daniel Agemy, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today, we're talking about protecting your pile. In AAA, if anyone has invested in the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, they've made a lot of money. If they invested in real estate, if they invested in markets, if they invested in commodities, if they invested in, you name it, art, cars, right? They've made a lot of money.
That's right.
And we're saying to people, what's the purpose of that money? You've got that money. Is it time to do a risk reduction? Is it time to look at, is it time to take some of the chips off the table? Is it time to take some of the cream off of the top and solidify some of those earnings? Because it's not yours unless it's paying you, or unless you remove it from those markets, whatever market that is, right?
Right. That's right. You got it, man. And this is we're passionate about this stuff, right? And where I started this section was about basically the fees that people are paying financial people, right?
Hiring somebody to find your mechanic.
Yeah, Daniel, there's a big name down this road right here in Guilford that I've seen people's accounts. And the advisor is charging, quotes, air quotes that was, folks, is it charging 1.25 to 1.5 to, quote unquote, manage the money. And all he's doing is checking a box. He's got mutual funds, that is the disease of ease. And then the mutual funds have managers, that the managers are charging maybe 0.5%, 0.75%. So the person is paying somewhere in the vicinity of 2% all in, which is egregious. That's high retail. Who here would like stuff on sale, likes to buy stuff on sale, right? I do. I like sales. Well, when you buy why do you go to Costco or BJ's or those kinds of clubs? Because they're wholesale clubs. You get things cheaper. Well, why wouldn't you want to do that with investments? Here at Agemy Financial Strategy, we invest the money. You're going wholesale. You're going straight to the middleman. I mean, you're going straight through it. You're not getting a middleman. You're going straight to investment advisors in regard to that, and who know you. The people with those other people down the road, they have no clue who those people are. All they are an account number at best. Here, it's like the difference between if you want a good hamburger, right? Would you go to McDonald's to get a good hamburger? No, of course not. You'd go to a boutique burger joint. So for your investments, do you want to go to McDonald's or do you want to go to the burger joint? Now, let's talk about this for a minute. Our clients are paying half or three quarters of the fee because they're going wholesale of those people down the road, all in, but at least paying us that much. But what they're getting is a customized portfolio. And for you gearheads out there, I have this picture that we did years ago when we advertised how I had my, at the time, 2006 Mustang GT gray with Shelby stripes on it and everything like that, and a 2002 yellow Ranger lifted 6 inches off the ground, big tires and all the other things. And the line was, we customize retirement plans. I love customized cars. But we do that for people in their retirement plan. So the point being here is, if you're paying 1% to 2% more than other people, that hurts you dramatically compared to earning an extra 1% or 2% and having it compound. There we go, back to how we started the show. Compound interest, eighth wonder of the world. People that understand it profit from it. People that don't understand it pay it. And that's what these folks are doing because they don't understand it. They're paying the fees, and that's a huge risk. Now, if you got enough money where you don't care, okay, God bless you, man. But if you rather the money go to the advisor or the insurance company or the government rather than your kids or your nonprofit organization or whatever, okay, hey, that's a great thing about America, right? Is that we can choose what we want to do. We all still can wear different clothes and drive different cars. So it's not yet been mandated that we can only do this. So, but if that's not your cup of tea, call us at 800-725 to pick up your paper called The Importance of Financial Defense to help educate you further on these things. Then we have this paper to educate you. You listen to Financial Strategies with Daniel Agemy because people don't know what people don't know. Today's topic is protect your pile. You work long, you work hard, and if you inherited it all, your parents or whoever worked long and hard for that money, you want to protect it. Many of my clients who received inheritances say, Andrew, I feel like a huge obligation to be a good steward of that money. I said, well, that's great because that's exactly why God put me doing this 35 years ago, to help people be better stewards of their money. And that's what Daniel and the whole team works diligently for. Now, there's other people out there, you're welcome to go talk to them. But if you at least get this paper, Financial Defense, 800-725-7616. Today's topic is protecting your pile. You listen to Financial Strategies. Daniel, we just have a few minutes left in the show today. Man, it's gone fast. And I know you have stuff to say about that 1% to 2% compounding stuff.
How did you know? I was just going to remind people from, I think it was last week's show, we went through the math on the 2% compounding.
Oh,
and
did we? I forgot.
You're not saying only make 2%. I'm just saying if you paid somebody 2% fees and you've got a $1.5 million portfolio in 10 years, that amount you're missing out on compounding is $331,000. Let me say that again. A $1.5 million portfolio, that 2% compounding for 10 years is $331,000. Now, some people will say, well, I don't need an extra $331,000. What is wrong with you? Somebody's earning that.
Daniel, nobody would pay $331,000 for a McDonald's hamburger.
I hope not.
You know what I'm saying? People, I get it. People don't care at a certain point in their life, but really, compare it to that. You want to pay $330,000 for a McDonald's hamburger as opposed to, instead of losing that, earning, and you probably have that number, Daniel, but that's a negative $331,000, as opposed to earning more from the compounding on a customized boutique burger. Today, you can go to a boutique burger joint and pay as much or less than you can at McDonald's. And that's what we're talking about.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. That surprises me every time I see that you can go get a real nice burger and it's basically the same as the drive up. But yeah, so if you don't want that extra money, why are you giving it to the bank, right? People will say, oh, it's convenient to have the money in the bank. Well, your capital is valuable. We respect capital. That's what we're talking about here. We respect capital. We respect our capital. We respect our clients' capital. If you got the 200,000, you've got the 800,000 sitting in the bank, you're earning nothing on it. You're earning 0.5% on it if you're lucky. It's not like that money's not earning something. It is. It's making the rich banker richer. And who knows what they're doing? They probably don't have the same value system as you. So what do you think they're spending that money on? There's good bankers out there, of course there are. But you think like JP Morgan, the executive at JP Morgan have the same value system that you do?
Nope.
Same with the insurance companies. You've got one of these bad annuities, right? AAA gave an example of somebody that got a second opinion from us and went and took care of it. But that portfolio, those annuities, the fees on the annuities were more than that person could earn in the annuity.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody's earning money. That money's not just sitting there in an account, not earning anything.
Right.
The insurance company was making all the money, not only on the fee they were taking from her.
Yeah.
But they're investing that capital and they're earning money on that too. So just because you're not earning the money doesn't mean somebody's not earning the money. So that 331,000 example, if you don't want that, earn it.
Right.
Give it to your kids. Give it to a cause you care about it. Give it to an orphanage that's taking good care of people. Give it to missionaries. Give it to somebody that's going to spend it properly if you don't care about it. Don't give it to the bankers. Don't give it to the financial people. Earn it and then give it away.
Give it to widows. Right. Anything like that. Right. So Daniel, with that woman was a type of widow, right? And she, like the other one we spoke about earlier, was again being financially raped in regard to what was going on. Something was not in her best interest, and it may have been acceptable, suitable, but it wasn't fiduciary based, and she changed that up. So that's great. We're so happy for her. Now, you've been listening to Financial Strategies with Daniel Agemy. The things, what we haven't talked about risk, we talked about the risk of fees, paying too much in fees. We're not against fees because we charge fees. We're against egregious fees. And you got market risk, systematic risk, and you got inflation debasement. Whereas a car today, a 2025 Mustang today costs a whole lot more dollars than a 1980 Mustang costs, right? Same car, basically. And there's reasons why that is, but one of the biggest reasons is inflation, right? Purchasing power going down, and that's debasement. People, government, others stealing from you. So you have to work for your own best interest to make it happen. And that's why hiring a true fiduciary can be very helpful to you. So we've got this book, More Life Than Money from Anthony Sakar. We'd love to put in your hand to be able to educate you further. Easy. Read a chapter a week or something, right? And each chapter starts with what you don't know that you don't know about something having to do with your retirement. And I wish I did that in my book. I'm writing a book, but not yet complete. But nevertheless, Anthony did a great job. Call 800-725-7616 for your free copy. 800-725-7616 for your free copy. Next 5 first-time callers. And listen, folks, if you're in or close to retirement, 50 years old plus, the key is if you want your retirement to be stress-free, invest for the I more than the G. Until next time.
It's time to be prudent, folks. It's time to be prudent. This is not the time to risk it all on red, to risk it all on black. This is time to be prudent. So that doesn't mean you have to make changes, but what it does mean you have to do is you have to ask yourself the question, am I an investor or I'm a trader? Am I a good trader? What is the purpose of my money? And should I get a second opinion? Should I get a second opinion to after I've asked myself those questions and answered those questions? Is my portfolio set up properly for the answers?
Right. And we can't take everybody's calls. We can't handle everybody. So our goal is altruistic to be able to make sure that you just get a second opinion. I don't know. I've had second opinions that weren't worth anything, but at least a second opinion is better than nothing. By a decision, by indecision. But here's what I'm going to leave you with. Daniel, the scripture that comes to my mind is, today is a day of salvation. Today is a day of salvation. Don't procrastinate. Don't put it off. Today is the best. Shoulda, coulda, woulda doesn't work. Hey, we'll look forward to catching up with you next time. Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Agemy. Out.